Hey guys, what's up? So in today's video I'm going to be making a tier list on all the SMGs and assault rifles in the game. First off, I'm just going to do the assault rifles, and then at the second half of the video I'll go over the SMGs. And this is just based off of ranked. It's not for competitive play or public matches. This is just what I've seen at the top ranks, what everyone's been playing and dominating with. So we're just going to hop right into the list. If you enjoy the video, remember to like, and if you're new here, subscribe, because I have tons of these kind of videos. And let's just get started, man. So first off, we're going to go over the Type 25. Now this gun, I'm just going to say it, I think it's the best assault rifle in the game. And there's a couple reasons why I think so. It's just super versatile, it has really fast fire rate, and kills super fast. I think it kills faster than any gun in the game, except for maybe an AK at a certain range. But it's just really consistent too, and it's hard to miss shots, especially when you're just spraying, because it has such a high fire rate. And I've just seen it been really dominating lately, so I'm going to put it as S tier. Now for the second weapon on the list, it's the M4, and I don't even remember the last time I even saw it being used in ranked. Probably at really low ranked when I was back in like the first season, but I haven't seen it since then. It does have like a medium fire rate. It doesn't really have much damage at all. It just, the only good thing about it is it doesn't have much spread or recoil, so it's super accurate. And maybe you see it every once in a while in pubs, but I'm just going to put it at D because it's not the worst assault rifle on this list, but it is pretty bad. Now, speaking of the worst assault rifle on this list, I believe it's the M16. I'm going to put it as E. Now, I know a lot of people in the comments are going to disagree with me because on my M16 video, a lot of people said they really liked the weapon, and it did get a little bit of a buff after the last update. It's just too inconsistent for ranking, especially when people are moving, sliding, and jumping. If you miss a couple bullets in your first burst, it's just going to take too long to actually get that second burst out of the gun, and you're probably going to die to the Msmc or the Type 25. So I just don't think it's good enough. Maybe if you're the host of the game and you have a really good connection, really good aim, and you can hit every burst completely, then it could honestly be B or C tier, but I just think most of the time it's really inconsistent and it's an E tier. Next up, we have the LK24. I just made a video on this weapon. I think it's a better version of the M4. It's decent medium range, and it's really good long range. I don't think it's the best long range weapon in the gun though. I'll explain that later on. But it's just not very good at close range, and it gets outgunned by a lot of weapons at medium range. I think it's just a good intermediate weapon. It's consistent, it's not too bad, it's not too great, so I'm going to put it as C tier. What I was talking about as the best long range weapon in the, or long range assault rifle I should say, in the game, I think it's the BK, honestly. It shreds, and if you pop FMJ on this thing, walls don't even matter anymore. And it does more damage than the LK too. Maybe the LK might be a little bit better at close range, but I think in general the BK is just a better, more consistent weapon because it does more damage. And damage, looking at the Type 25, damage is super important. Now the next weapon is actually the ASM-10, and you might have noticed a trend so far. The weapons with the least amount of damage are getting lower. Even if they're really accurate, they're still going to be lower on the list because recoil in this game is not that big of a factor, and it's pretty easy to control. Now for the ASM-10, it does have a little bit of a slower fire rate, but it does have more damage than these three weapons, so a lot of the time you're going to be winning the gunfights. And it is really accurate, honestly, I'm not going to lie. If you watch my last video on it, it is pretty accurate, and it does do more damage. The only thing holding it back from being an A or S tier weapon is probably its fire rate. So I'm going to put it as a B. I would honestly rather use the BK57 more than the ASM-10, but we don't have a B- tier, so I'm just going to stick it up here at B tier. Now the AK-47, just made a video on it, and I have a soft spot for it, to be honest, because that video, oh my god, I went off. Even in ranked, it just feels really good. It has extremely high damage. I think it has around the same fire rate as the ASM-10, but just has a lot more damage. And I mean, you can tap fire at range and still destroy people, and it wins a lot of close range gunfights too. I just think it's a really consistent, good weapon if you learn to control the recoil, so I'm going to put it as A tier. Last update, honestly, it just felt a little different, and I would have probably put it B tier, but I think now it's an A for sure. Next up, the last weapon on this list, well, the last assault rifle on this list. A lot of people are probably wondering about this because it used to be an S tier for sure, but then they increased its recoil a little bit, and what made it so godly last update was just it had almost no spread, no recoil, and you didn't even need to run foregrip, to be honest. I never ran a foregrip, but now I feel like I need to, so it kind of takes the slot away, and I think because of that, it's going to be an A+. But I mean, of course I can't do A+, so I'm just going to put it down here at A. I think I would rather use it a little bit more than the AK-47, but I think the Type is still the best gun in the game. So this is my tier list for assault rifles. Now we're just going to hop right in and do the SMGs. Now we're going to go over SMGs, and the first one we're going to go over is actually the AKS. Last update, without a doubt, 100% S tier weapon, but this update, they kind of nerfed its range damage, and you can definitely tell it. You could have put it under the assault rifle category. Honestly, last update, it was so good at medium and long range, but they nerfed that a lot. It's still really good at medium range, but it's not as good as at long range, so it's going to lose to the AK-117 or even the Type 25. I wouldn't even put it, I'm not going to put it in S. I don't think it's as good as the Type 25 anymore. I'm going to put it as A tier. I'd say it's pretty much as consistent as the 117 and the AK-47. Now, moving on, I did a video on this, I think yesterday, the HG40, and I fell in love with it, and I've been using it a lot in ranked recently, but I know I'm not going to let my bias distract me from the fact that it does have a little bit of a low fire rate. It does have a high kill time, but that doesn't really matter when you're competing with something like the Msmc or the AKS, so I'm going to put it right below the AKS, B tier. It is pretty good at medium range, but it does fall off when you're trying to kill someone with a head glitch or at a longer range. Next up, chip comm. So they did change this a little bit in the newest update. They made it do a little bit more damage, it feels like, or maybe they just increased the firing speed, I'm not really sure. But it's not that great. Burst weapons I don't think will ever be that great in COD Mobile, just because it's a mobile game and the aiming is obviously very different than it is on console. And it's just not consistent enough for it to, for any burst weapon, honestly. I think they would just need to make a burst weapon kill in half a burst for it to be considered A, B, or S tier. I'm honestly going to put this as, oh god, this is a tough one. I don't want to put it at E, but I think I gotta. You're going to lose most of the gunfights at higher ranks if you're using a chip comm. Now next up, Msmc. I just realized there's not as many SMGs as assault rifles, is there? So the Msmc is probably the best SMG in the game right now. Pure SMG. It's not good at long range. Of course, the Msmc has never meant to be good at long range, but it just does so much damage and has such a high fire rate. If you hear the sound it makes when you shoot, it sounds like a minigun, and you're going to destroy everything at close range. So I'm going to put it as S, because you can actually beat a Type 25 at close range. AKS loses to the Type 25 at close range, which is insane, but I think AKS beats Type 25 at medium range, which is really weird. That's kind of a reverse, but the Msmc just dominates every other SMG in this category. Now, PDW-57, I remember the days before the game was even released. I don't know who was playing back then, anyone watching this, but PDW was S tier for sure, but it's definitely been bumped down now. It's not on the same level as the AKS for sure. It's just a little bit worse. It has a really good clip size, and I definitely respect that, so I'm going to put it as B tier. Alright guys, that is my complete tier list of assault rifles and SMGs in COD Mobile. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you do, click that like button, and I'll see you guys next time.